we got a good one right here. This is a story of right here. It's about a story about a truck driver gets $500,000 for wrongful arrest suit in Apple Valley. Say what? Apple Valley, see him, man? Go on past? Yeah. Bro, how come Dinkins not doing the story? I don't know. You're good as guess mine. Man, I can't believe Dink Williams. Good old Mr. Dinkins Dink's talking about, oh, I'm doing cop watching. I'm going to hold a counting bill. I'm doing yours in Apple Valley. I heard he ain't done the story. Yeah, I know. I'm shocked, bro. But anyway, hey, let's do it up here. Anyways, yeah. We'll start with, from here, from Here's the Deal from Brian's channel as he explains it. Then we'll break it down a little bit more because I got another article. And there's some pieces that Here's the Deal Brian didn't break down. And we'll break it down as well, too. But there's some key points. He discusses it here. And we'll break it down as well, too, here. Check it out.
Comes out of San Bernardino County, and we've got more deputies. Just think, more deputies who can't stand by the Constitution. They're unable. It's virtually impossible for them to leave somebody alone who's not harming anybody, threatening to harm anybody, or stealing anybody's stuff. This comes from the San Bernardino Sun. Truck driver gets $500,000 for wrongful arrest by San Bernardino County Sheriff's Deputy.
I tried to go on the San Bernardino Sun, but they wanted you to subscribe there and it cost money, so I didn't screw that. So I found another website, but this website shows some about what happened in trial, about questions, and we'll break that down when this one's over.
Deputy. So once again, the law enforcement agents have cost the people they're supposed to be protecting
$500,000
a whole lot of money because of their stupidity. San Bernardino County.
Yeah, San Bernardino. Yeah, and this one dumbass cop just cost San Bernardino, Apple Valley, and the people up a Cajon Pass $500,000 because their butthurt, fragile ego got in the way. Because this cop did not like a man working on a job, standing up for his rights. Didn't want to answer questions, and that's how it was coming to nowadays. You get cops out there, they get butthurt because you stand up for your rights, you show them the displeasure, or you don't back down. You get people out there say, "Oh, just obey, nothing will happen. You won't get arrested. You just obey, you go home." Yeah, it's like the same breath they tell you, "Oh, just give up your right." No, you're not supposed to give up your rights.
Supervisors agreed
it's going to
February 7th to pay $500,000 to a truck driver who was arrested for making a snide remark to deputies during a delivery. So, because they got their feelings hurt, and because they took it as
over some jeering remarks,
they couldn't help themselves. They had to lay hands on him. They had to put the torture cuffs on him and ratchet him down nice and tight, like.
Oh yeah, they had him put it real tight on there. This trucker, this man, Mr. Franks. He said he was endured with, searing pain in his wrist because the cops want to put him real tight just to teach this Mr. Frank, this man, a lesson.
To teach this guy a lesson, and yet the people who got taught a lesson are the people who get their money extorted from them so that they can have security that turns around and does this to the community.
Yeah, $500,000 just got stored by one loser, a butthurt cop.
Deputies tried to question Tommy Franks Jr. of Mesa, Arizona on February 6, 2019 for suspected loitering behind a supermarket.
Yeah, and the thing was, with Mr. Tommy Franks, Apple Valley, a man making his scheduled delivery to a supermarket in Apple Valley had just banked $500,000 for San Bernardino County. That's because deputies allegedly arrested him wrongfully. Assembly came to February 7, 2023, paid Tommy Franks $500,000, following some jury remarks made to deputies about 4 years ago to the state. So, what happened was, Wednesday, February 6th, back in 2009, Tommy Franks showed up at a Winco supermarket and Jess Ranch marketplace. Franks had a delivery to make, so he drove around to the back of the parked semi-truck in the rear loading dock. The loading dock was closed, so Franks, with his clipboard in hand, walked around the building to the front to inform Winco employees that he was there to unload his truck. While inside the store, Franks decided to purchase some muffins since he was hungry. He paid for his baked goods and exited through the front of the store, walking back around the building to his semi-truck. All right, let's go right here.
But he refused to answer them or identify himself, and cops can't have that.
No, they can't have that. No, you got to answer their questions. You got to give up your rights. You got to obey any kind of command they tell you. It's kind of crazy as well.
Engage in a conversation with them whether you want to or not. Franks was jailed for resisting arrest. A federal jury last week awarded Franks $375,000 for wrongful arrest with the potential for even more damages, like punitive damages. But the County Board of Supervisors resolved the case by approving the settlement. So they've already settled. So what's the story?
It's already settled out of court.
He was a truck driver, minding his own business, doing his job, trying to support his family, was making a delivery at a Winco supermarket in Apple Valley, and had parked his tractor-trailer rig in the rear loading dock, according to the lawsuit. Franks walked around the front of the store to inform management of the delivery, and while he was at it, he was hungry, so he purchased some muffins. As he was walking back to his truck, clipboard and muffins in hand. So if you're going to be a cop, you need to have some kind of investigative wherewithal. Look at your surroundings. Look at possibly the truck right there that he's about to get back.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, so yeah, and here's one like that. As he circled the building, he encountered deputies from the Apple Valley Police Department. According to the lawsuit, Franks was asked what he's doing. The response, walking, says Franks. Deputies further went in to question the truck driver. This time, requesting identification, Franks declined that request, complaining he was illegally being detained by the deputies. Evidence from the scene that shows Franks had his clipboard in hand with the deliveries manifest attached. The company's logo on the clipboard matched the company's logo on the semi-truck, still parked in the loading dock. The lawsuit goes on to claim that Franks was informed by deputies he was being detained for loitering. However, Franks was quick to point out that it was incorrect by questioning, how can I be loitering if I'm walking?
Back into, because he's making a delivery. Look at the clipboard, which we'll find out in this story, had the logo, the company logo on the manifest, which was the same logo that was on the truck. Doesn't take the Rockford Files or Columbo or Andy Griffith to figure this out.
Columbo.
Now, there's only one thing that I'm not clear about. Actually, there is one thing.
Franks was stopped by San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies. They asked him what he was doing while he was walking with his clipboard, eating his muffin. What are you doing? To which he replied, walking? I'm walking. Deputies asked Franks for his identification, but he refused. Why? Because he's a free man of the land.
Yeah.
He has the right to be secure in his person. He has the right to be secure in his truck. He has the right to walk down the road eating a muffin with the manifest in his hand.
And the guy wasn't committing no crime. And he was arguing, saying, yeah, he was illegally being detained. Now, when the officer detains you, they have to have articulated reasonable suspicion that you are about to commit a crime, have committed a crime, or already committed a crime, or you are committing a crime on the spot. They need articulated reasonable suspicion. And what was a guy? How is he loitering? Loitering is a definition when you're hanging around, you're idling, you're kicking it. It's like when you hang around a store, like some people do, just hanging around loitering. Homeless people loiter all the time, walking and start asking for change. That's loitering. This man was going from point A to point B after making a purchase. Let management know he had a delivery to unload, and he's walking back to his truck.
He refused and complained that he was being illegally detained. The manifest for the delivery was in plain sight on his clipboard with the logo of the company matching the logo on the truck. The lawsuit said a deputy told Franks that he was being detained for loitering, but Franks, because he possibly has at least 2 brain cells to rub together in his cranial structure, which is more than I can say for the San Bernardino deputies, Franks responded, "How can I be loitering if I'm walking?"
And let me tell you what the definition of loitering means. Verb, gerund or present participle, loitering. Stand away around idly or without apparent purpose. She saw Mary loitering near the cloak's room. Idling means you're not moving around, you're just idling. You're just sitting. You're standing, not moving around with no purpose. No purpose at all.
That, my friends, is a valid question. But it bounced off the foreheads of the deputies and it took no effect. Franks asked 3 times to speak to his
Supervisor.
The deputy replied that Franks was being hostile and placed him in handcuffs, ratcheting them painfully tight. That's why we call them torture frickin' cuffs.
Yeah, when you put the cuffs on you too tight, just to hoping to say they're going to teach you a lesson.
Deputies contended that Franks, while holding muffins and a clipboard, had taken a fighting stance.
I mean, it's crazy. Just like, I mean, I've heard of stories where cops would do that, make your cuffs too tight, make you sit in a hot squad car for a half an hour. Oh, I read one on the channel. Well, supposedly a 14-year-old young man was riding a golf cart. Okay, no big deal. But guess what the officers did? It was like, I think it was like 15 degrees out in the Georgia area. So they rolled down the windows, turned off the engine, and made this young man suffer for 20 minutes in the freezing cold. And the officer said, "Oh, you ready to talk now? You want to tell what happened?" That's intimidation. That's intimidation of a witness, and that's not legal. And he sit there saying, "Oh, he took the fighting stance." Yeah. So right here. Yeah, it says, according to the allegation and the lawsuit, the deputy who stopped Franks proceeded to grab his clipboard and muffin from his hand. Deputies say that Franks, while holding his muffins and clipboard, had taken a fighting stance. Oh, he's about ready to fight him. No, I bet Mr. Frank was shocked. Like, what's going on? They're about right. Yank his muffins, yank his clipboard. Yeah, because Frank was standing up to those, and those deputies didn't like it.
"I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, jury," says the deputies, "I was fearing for my life because this muffin-eating truck driver who's minding his own business with a clipboard in his hands took a fighting stance, and we was scared. We was really scared. We were fearing for our lives. I'm surprised Mr. Franks didn't get shot." It was apparent to Mr. Franks that both the deputies' decision to arrest him and to apply the handcuffs in an excessively tight manner were in retaliation for Mr. Frank's verbal protest. That's called contempt of cop.
Yeah, it is.
That's where the cop is not satisfied.
That's called intimidating the witness. 18 U.S.C. 25, intimidation of a witness.
With your answer, and because he's got his little feelings hurt, and
he got pee-pee so hurt because this guy stood up to the cop, knew his rights.
He can't have that, and he's going to have to go hands-on to teach you a lesson. Because he got beat up on a playground at a school back in 1983.
I mean, he's probably one of those cops, he didn't like it when you did a diss on him. Say, hey, Mr. Officer, yeah, your mama's so fat. Yeah, I mean on the bits for heat in the wintertime and AC in the summertime. Oh, you mother, I'm taking you down. Well, I'm an officer, you can't be doing that. Yeah, it's like a playground tip, you know what I'm saying? Like, you find over the swings or the slides or the basketball hoop.
And he couldn't fend for himself.
Yep.
So now he's got to wear the uniform so he can bully other people around.
That's why some cops become officers, because they were bullied all their life in school, so they want to fight back.
Request to speak to a supervisor, said the court document filed by steering. The sheriff's department declined to comment on Tuesday. Of course it did, because what are you going to say? We got a bunch of dumb arses working.
No, because of course they're not going to. Of course they're going to decline, because you know what? They're going to be coming their ass a base and said, "Oh, it's an ongoing investigation. Oh, we got nothing to say. We declined to comment." Yeah, because you got messed up. That's why.
For our freaking sheriff's department, yeah. We need a new crop of officers who can actually think themselves out of a.
This is why we talk about about defunding the police. People say, "Oh yeah," people are like police supporters, people who say we got back to blue, man. They're going to say, "Well, you'll talk about defund the police, but yeah, when you want a cop, they're not around." No, it's not about defunding the police. Laws like this are the reason why the police departments are getting defunded, because they're costing taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. And here's another case.
Wet paper bag.
Yeah.
Because currently we don't have any on staff. While sitting in the back of a patrol car, Franks asked the deputy...
Oh, this is good. This website did not put this one up, but this is good. This is going to tell you how butthurt this cop was. This is good. Listen to this.
Is it hard to breathe with your head that
far up your ass?
Which is hilarious.
That's funny.
The deputy responded by grabbing Frank's beanie from his head.
Wow.
So he wouldn't have any of that. Oh my gosh. Somebody called me on my BS. Steering said that Franks did nothing legally wrong.
He did nothing wrong.
And this is what Frank's attorney said. My guy is dumb enough to think he's got rights. The sarcasm is perfect.
That is perfect.
It is not a crime in the state of California to refuse to identify yourself to a cop, even if they have a legal reason to detain you. Why? Because there's a little pesky problem that law enforcement don't like called the Fourth Amendment, the
Fourth
right
Amendment.
to be secure in your person. You don't...
Cops think they can get away by violating your Fourth Amendment rights. See, right here, Franks also alleges that his Fourth Amendment rights was violated. The U.S. Constitution defines Fourth Amendment as protecting people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Fourth Amendment, however, is not a guarantee against all searches and seizures, but only those that are deemed unreasonable under the law. And in that case, for Mr. Franks, it was unreasonable.
Don't have to give up your identity. One of the things that's the most valuable that you own is your anonymity.
Anonymity.
And the last thing you want to do with that anonymity is give it away to a power-tripping, authoritarian police officer who doesn't give a damn about you, because he's going to take your name and he's going to enter it into that database, and it's not going to be a positive entry, it's going to be negative.
Yeah. And the reason why I always sit there and say, don't say, ID refuser. Just refuse it until you have it to the bitter end as much as you can. There are circumstances where you do ID yourself, but there are spots when you're being detained by the cops you don't ID. Because you know why? Cops want your name so they can run the system and hope you have a warrant, or they'll find something and arrest you on. Because there are the police departments that go by quota. They had to write X amount of tickets, make an X amount of arrests, or otherwise they don't get their quota and paycheck and they get laid off. It's called quota. Job security.
Frank spent the night in jail and was released on his own cognizance the next day. He later was charged with resisting arrest.
Wow. And the thing was, people were sitting there saying, you get cops out there who will tell you, resisting arrest. If you ask a cop, say, why am I being detained? I said, what's the problem, officer? Why are you stopping me? What crime is particulated? Well, what's your name and badge number? Give me your supervisor. Well, now you're resisting arrest because you won't comply. Wow.
San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office took a look at the case and said, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to cost us so much money. And they dropped the case because of insufficient evidence.
Well, yeah, there was insufficient as well, because it had nothing except go by fucking butt hurt feelings.
So this guy, for handcuffs a little bit tight, torture cuffs tight, got $500,000 because deputies could not take their ego being bruised.
Yeah, they couldn't check their egos at the door where he belongs.
They couldn't take the clipboard-toting, muffin-eating truck driver doing his job, questioning their authority. Leave your thoughts about this for the world.
Anyways, look, I'm going to read this before we get out of here. So here's a little part right here. So we got the jury verdict was obtained by HD Daily News, and the findings show how the jury ruled. Okay, here we go. Number one, the deputy Tyler Loop detained Tommy Franks Jr. without reasonable suspicion that Mr. Franks was engaged in criminal activity. No. Number two, was the length or scope or manner of Frank's detention by Deputy Loop unreasonable under the circumstances? Yes. Number three, did Deputy Loop arrest Franks without probable cause to believe that Mr. Franks had committed a crime or was committing a crime? Yes. 4. Did Deputy Loop cause Franks criminal prosecution for violation of California Penal Code Section 143, AI? Yes. 5. Did Deputy Loop handcuffing of Franks constitute excessive force? Yes. 6. Was Frank's exercise of First Amendment rights to freedom of speech a substantial or motivating factor in Deputy Loop taking adverse action against Mr. Frank? Yes. 7. State of the amount of plaintiff damage $375,000. Number 8. Was the conduct of Deputy Loop's done maliciously or reckless disregard of Frank's First Amendment right? Yes. And with that said, I'm out of here, my job. Peace out.